Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
We're both getting shy. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. So, for those watching and listening, we are filming in Taronga in New Zealand with the lovely Courtney Durr. A little bit of background on Courtney is that she's a self-worth coach who is on a mission to help equip people with the tools and skills needed to know, love, and express their authentic selves. Courtney founded Worthwhile in 2020, which is her coaching business. And through this, she runs one-to-one coaching, group coaching, retreats, and lovely, awesome community events. Worthwhile also has its own podcast, which is amazing, which Courts began in 2023. And there's over 70 really informative, useful, practical episodes on there for those who are interested. She runs a beautiful journaling morning called Curious Minds in Mount Maunganui on a Thursday, and it's really valued by the community here. And it just kind of brings together like-minded people who we all kind of sit on the beach. Well, I say we all. I've been a few times.
How you
but
been?
yeah.
Yep.
But we kind of all sit down in a circle and kind of discuss intentions and just kind of journal on different themes, and it's really, really lovely. And she's also studying Hakomi, which is a mindful somatic psychotherapy course which uses self-study to uncover and transform deeply held unconscious beliefs, which sounds so interesting. And yeah, Courts, you're just known as just such a lovely sunshine human being, and pretty much everyone I've met has kind of said like when you meet Courtney, when you come away from seeing Courtney, you just feel better about yourself and about life. It's really, really special. So to me, you're also somebody who really embodies the work that you do and that you speak about. It's really, really cool. And I know a bit about Courtney's story, but honestly, you've done so much, and I just feel like I know the kind of tip of the iceberg. So I really am excited just to kind of sit down with you today and learn more about how you got to this point in your life, and I guess like the kind of key changes that you went through in your mid-20s, kind of like the person that you were before you started working on self-development and focusing on that. And I guess like where you are today in your life and how you've used all of these learnings from your work and from your experience working with so many different people, and how you now balance being and becoming in your own life. It'll be so fascinating to hear how you now do that personally as well, through focusing on, I guess, like living your life as your authentic self. So
I'm honestly, I just firstly have to say, before we even like dive into it, it's just like to be here and to sit here and watch and listen to you say all those beautiful things. It's like a real practice of like staying here and like receiving it. I actually find that it can be difficult to hear these like beautiful words, but actually just to allow myself to, I think the big word is like receive that love and like allow it in. So like it's so nice to have those words reflected back, and I'm always kind of reminding myself like take it in, allow it. These words are meaningful and you mean them, and so I just really appreciate you saying all those beautiful things.
Oh, of course. I love that as well. And it's so good because I feel like a lot of us are just kind of, we kind of hear a compliment and we just kind of like freak out sometimes. And it is just about kind of like accepting that. And I love that. I love that you're grateful for it as well. So let's get straight into it.
Let's.
At this point in your life, Courtney, what does success look like to you?
So when I think about that question, and I have thought about it a lot over the years, but when I sit with it now, success to me is a feeling. And I know that sounds a bit like woo-woo, but I think for me it's like, it's not anything external. It's not certain status. It's not a relationship. It's not experiences. It's not even relationships necessarily. Those things could really influence, but what it ultimately is to me is a feeling. And so it's, so when I think about how do I know that I am successful, or that I'm living a successful life, it's a kind of a feeling of fullness, a feeling of fulfillment, a feeling of wholeness and warmth. And so that could come from kind of connection in my relationships. It could come from alignment to who I think I am and who I really am. But there's no way of really knowing that I am successful without being aware of how that feels in my body. There is certain things that I want to achieve, and there's certain things that I value, and certain ways I want to live my life. But if I can't stop and acknowledge I am living in that life right now, like right now as my life currently is, I am living in complete alignment to my values. I am doing purposeful work. I love my lifestyle. I have rich friendships. I am healthy. I have a healthy body, a healthy mind, a healthy soul. And all of that is worthless if I can't actually allow myself to experience it and celebrate it and notice it. So I think it is those things that I spoke to, but it's the connection to, I feel that, and I'm really experiencing that in my body of like I feel success as in my life as I am right now. Yeah.
So beautiful.
But I've never thought about that before in that way of like the connection to, it's not just these external things. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are kind of obsessed with like the notion that everything, like we're always kind of almost living for the future.
Yeah.
It is really difficult to stay in the present and to actually just stop and be like in this moment and not always feel like we have to be somewhere or do something or work towards something else to feel a certain way, to feel at peace or happy or content. And I guess, what is your thought, Courts, on, I guess, why a lot of us are like that? We're so obsessed with the idea that it's this kind of version of ourselves or the version of our lives that we want is in the future, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good question. And I don't know if I have the answer to it. And I mean, I'm even curious to know what your kind of thoughts on it is. When I think about the future, it's this idea of it feels quite paradoxical, where it's like if you want something, you are highlighting not having it. And so it's this like and this is the whole thing of being and becoming, right? It's like the becoming is the future. It's this like this compass, this North Star of like, oh yes, this is the life that I want to create, and this is the person that I want to become, and this is what I want to achieve or feel.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of becoming piece, the future piece. But then there's the being of, how is that already present in my life? So I want success, I want love, I want connection, I want purpose, and I do want those things. And also, how is it already present in my life, because if I'm always wanting, then I'm never experiencing.
Yes.
And so at what point do I arrive?
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only answer to that is let's bring in the topic of death, you know?
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
yeah.
it's like, when, at what point do you actually get to, oh, I have this, or I'm experiencing this? So I think you can have both. I think you
Yeah.
can both work on changing parts of yourself,
Mhm.
or wanting and, achieving or having those kind of goals that you're working towards. But if you can't allow yourself to experience
Yeah.
it in the moment, then you'll never get
Never
there.
get there.
So I don't think that answers your question
No, it
at all.
does. Well,
But
it does. I mean, I think from my kind of very limited knowledge of like neuroscience, is like our brains seem wired to think about things often in a negative way, or see the negatives, or like see the things that are missing. And like, it's always kind of like, it's wired to see the goal, or see the thing that we need, like the food that we need, or the shelter that we need, and then work towards that, right? It's not really wired to think particularly happy thoughts,
Yep.
or like particularly great things about ourselves. And so I guess like it's been really interesting learning about how you essentially have to try and rewire your neural pathways to kind of do your gratitude, and take a moment to just like try and be in the present moment and be still. Because really we're kind of like fighting with our monkey brains, it seems,
Yeah.
to kind of like
I mean, that's such a valid point, and I hear it a lot in my work, where I love how we're just like diving
just like
right.
going, I didn't think
Let's
that was
go
ever
right
going
into
right
this. I love it. I love it. But I think that there is this kind of common belief that if I allow myself to be content in who I am and where I am, then I'm just gonna just settle. You know, then I'm just gonna be like, well, then I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
So people almost have this idea that they kind of have to whip themselves to, or criticize themselves, or push themselves and grind and hustle in order for them to have the motivation to, you know, get more out of life. They think that if they show themselves compassion, if they allow themselves to be content in who they are and where they are, then they will just basically like lie flat and be like, okay, that's this is all there is. And you know, but I don't think that is actually the case at all. Like, I find that contentment actually creates more safety, and therefore drive in the body to, you know, to create more and to do more.
Yeah. When you have a
Yeah.
calm nervous system as well, that's what I'm like discovering actually.
Yeah.
We don't need to be up here all the time to get stuff done and to push
Yeah.
ourselves to, I guess, achieve things or be better. It's like you can do that with a calm sense of being. But I'm just like learning a little bit about that now, because I feel like for so long I thought that I had to be always up here, you know, and feeling kind of, I guess, like stressed and on edge to push myself to do the things that I knew I needed to do, right?
Absolutely. I think that's a common experience.
Yeah. But before we get into all of the the juicy stuff, so in this episode, I was saying to Courts before we started filming, like, I think I just really want to hear about your life story. And I'm sure a lot of people do as well. In fact, I know that they do, because I've heard people say, I really want to learn more about Courtney. And yeah, I mean, we were speaking about how, so essentially 2016 was a pivotal year for you in terms of making changes in your life and kind of starting to really focus on, I guess, self-development and setting intentions for where you wanted to go and the path that you wanted to go down. But should we take it back to kind of just like your teenage years, maybe your early adulthood, and what you were like? Were you similar to the person that you are now? I guess a question I have for you is, did you kind of see yourself living the kind of life that you're living now? Like, was that in the back of
Mm.
your mind? Um, yeah, like really focusing on that kind of being and becoming kind of what was life like for you then before you started to really focus on this
Mm.
type of work?
Right from an early age, even though I loved sport, wanted to be an actor.
Mm.
And then one day, I honestly remember it like it was yesterday.
Mhm.
My friend asked if I wanted to go to an open day at the Institute of Sport. This is in Wellington, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And I just was like, it's a day off school. So, like, of course, I'll come along.
Mm.
And I remember just going that day and just being so amazed that you could study this. I loved sport. I lived and breathed it, but I didn't realize that it was something that I could kind of pursue as a career. Um, I don't even think my friend ended up going
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
place, but I just got home that day and I just said to mum and dad, like, it's so wild to think back. I just knew. I was like, I don't want to do my last year of school. I know what I want to do. And my parents were really supportive. They've always just kind of been like, "Do what you wanna do." They
Yeah.
love me and they support me, but they're also not gonna be like, "No, you need to follow this kind of, timeline." So I really appreciated that from
Mm.
them. If I look back on the me then, like, I don't think she would have ever thought I would be doing what I do now. So,
Yeah.
like, I think she would have always known that I would have done something that I really love, that I
Yes.
find joy in and purpose in. I don't think
Yeah.
she would be surprised that I would be doing something in that realm.
Yeah.
But I think what she would have been surprised by and honestly in awe by is that I run my own business and that, I think she, when I say she, I'm talking about my past self. Didn't really consider herself she didn't consider herself smart, and she didn't consider herself, like,
Mm.
organized or responsible. I just
Why
think,
is that, course?
um,
Do you think?
I think that it's just I kinda have and that's still like, it's not a logical or rational belief that I'm stupid, like, I know that I'm not, but I think, like, deep down, I'm kind of I still have that, like, deep belief that
Mm.
I don't know enough, or maybe it's because I kind of grew up around really intelligent people and I just maybe can't get my words out as well as they can, or it's so it honestly is so confusing
I
to
have the
me.
same thing. Yeah,
Really?
massively. Um, my mum, something that was really reassuring, my mum would always say to me is like, the fact that I was questioning my intelligence so much was a sign that I was
Mm.
intelligent.
Wow.
And obviously, there's so many different types of intelligence as well, and I
Yeah.
really firmly believe that.
Mm.
But yeah, constantly questioning myself. I spent so much energy just like through school and uni just questioning it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like seeing things from that
Yeah.
space, and it would actually just be a waste of time, and my mum would have to be like, why are we talking about this? Like, just focus on the
Literally,
exam. It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
That's
and
so
it's
interesting. I really think I, because I'm like the evidence, like you've obviously got like your intellectual intelligence and you've got your emotional intelligence. And I think I always have known that I'm emotionally intelligent, but just intellectually, I think, and I still struggle with this too. In my brain, I'm like, she's so wise. She really like knows her stuff. And then when it comes to
yeah.
like talking, I'm like, "Ugh," and then I just like yap and ramble and get my words mixed up. And so
I
it's
think
like,
that's a sign of intelligence. So honestly, I do. Yeah, yeah. Because there's like so much going on. And
yeah,
I guess, yeah, like the questioning of yourself, I think, is actually a sign of
yeah,
you
yeah.
having that level of self-awareness and constantly checking yourself probably,
I love that.
you
I've never really
know?
thought about it like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
really helped me
Yeah.
a lot through like the times where I would just be like, I can't do this. I'm not clever enough, you know?
Mm. Probably
Um
also like I think from what I know of you, and we probably share this, is we probably hold ourselves to a high standard,
mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And so it's like that standard that we have for ourselves is like when we're not haven't reached that
Yeah.
because perhaps it's impossible to reach, but it's like, I'm not intelligent
No,
enough, and yeah.
absolutely. I actually, for this very thing, when I was a trainee lawyer, I started CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm.
really for like my kind of perfectionism issues. And the therapist at the time, he was great. He said, I remember him asking, like, why do you set almost impossible standards for yourself?
Mm.
And I said, well, he said, like, well, what would life be like if you didn't set those impossible standards? And I said, well, everything would just basically like break down. Like, what if I didn't push myself enough? Like, I need those standards there. And he said, Amy, it's not about having the standards there. The standards aren't doing anything for you right now. The standards are what are holding you back. Like, you clearly care about your work and you clearly want to do a good job. And like we were talking about kind of, I guess, like goal setting and sometimes having those markers that are there as the kind of North Star, like having something there that you're aware of that you know that you need to like a standard that you need to like meet. It is helpful, but when they're impossible, they can really, really hold you back.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
don't need them there to excel.
yeah, absolutely,
They're
and
not a prerequisite for doing well at something, you know?
absolutely. I think it's like having that unrealistically high standard is just this, I don't know, there's a part of us that's like, see, we're not good enough. See, it's like
Mm.
there's evidence right there that we haven't achieved or we're not good enough, and that perhaps feels familiar, or there's something that feels
Yeah.
familiar about like having evidence that we're not good enough, as
Yeah.
opposed to like it is this balance, right? That kind of having a North Star
Mm.
or a direction that you want to move in, but not using this sort of standard of excellence as like a weapon against yourself, as like
Absolutely.
another sort of way to criticize yourself and show that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like using the standard, the goal,
Mm.
the focus point, and using it for good, not for bad or for punishment.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, Courts and I were talking earlier about how I've always really struggled with goal setting. Because I think it's because I'm so scared of not reaching the goal or hitting the goal that it freaks me
Yeah.
out. So I'm like, I'd rather not have the goal at all.
Mm.
But you talk a lot in your work about how essentially it's so useful to, I guess, like use the goal as that kind of North Star, but like if you don't meet it or if you quote unquote fail,
Yeah.
like it's okay, like accepting that actually the trying, the moving towards that marker is where the real beauty is,
Mm. Oh, I'm
right?
feeling so much right now. Like I'm like, oh, this I love this. And I think this is just such an important conversation because I I was kind of the opposite when it came to goal setting. Like
Mm.
I really like
Mm.
frothed goal setting. Like I was like every single year it was just like
Yeah, well, I
vision
saw
boards
that.
and
Yeah.
and it was like I knew exactly what I was working towards, and the thing is I would achieve a lot. Like it was like
Yeah.
it's so interesting to think about, but there was a certain level of love and attention that I felt when like I would go to family events and I would hear my mom and my dad speak about me in really positive ways, like so
Right.
I would hear I would this is this is so interesting. Just like saying out loud, I'm
Yeah.
having real life kind of or
Flashbacks.
real time sort of realizations here, but is my mom and my dad I would be in the room and they would speak about me in such a fond way. Like you could see that they
Right.
were so proud of me.
Yeah.
People would ask them, "Oh, what's Courtney up to? What's she doing now?" And I was always doing such cool
Doing
things.
things, yeah,
Yeah,
ticking
like
things off the
yeah,
list, achieving things, yeah.
achieving really cool things, doing big stuff, and I would hear my parents talk about me in such fond ways.
Mm.
And so there was this connection that I made of if I am special, then I am loved. If I achieve, then I am loved. And what's so interesting is
Mm.
I never heard that directly from my mum and dad. Like, they would never directly say to me, I
Yes.
love you, I am proud of you, but it was because maybe that sort of intimacy felt too scary for them. It's not that
Oh,
there was
wow.
so much
Right.
love from my family, but there was never like big hugs and, that sort of intimacy in
Right.
terms of I love you and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
But then you could just see the way that they would share it with others. It was like there was a bit of removal
Yeah.
in the way they kind of was like, okay, this I want to talk about my daughter, but never to me. And so I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can
Yeah.
so see
Yeah.
how
So
you would have then made that connection
yes,
yourself as
yes.
well. And I think a lot
Absolutely.
of people, I think that will resonate with a lot of people. And I think obviously you have no doubt that your parents love you and are proud of
Yeah.
you. But it is that thing a lot of the time where I think, especially if they can see so much potential,
Mhm.
and it's just like they're so excited. They want you to be the best and to rise up.
Yeah.
And it's actually with all the best intentions in the world, but it's so easy, especially when you're going through school, or college and apprenticeship or whatever, to believe like, yeah, we're kind of programmed as well by society to believe like you have to
Mm.
do this
Mhm.
to be valued
Yeah.
at a societal level as well. Like it's literally almost like programmed into us,
It
you
absolutely
know?
is, and yeah, I do think that there's probably a lot of people kind of who relate to that. In order to be loved, I need to be special, and that's actually a belief and not true. And I say this looking at you, and I say this talking, you know, to share with others, but it's like I'm actually saying that to myself, like, cool. It's like you don't need to be special
I know.
to be loved, because I think this is such a tangent, but like I still have that deep belief of like I can't just be average. I have to do something. I have to be like extraordinary to be loved.
Yeah.
And there is even just this fear of like aging and being forgotten, and kind of I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to I
Yeah.
need to stay doing extraordinary things and looking extraordinary and being extraordinary. And it's just like
Mm.
actually I am, and that's where the self-worth piece comes in. It's like I actually don't need to do anything or be anything to be loved.
To be
Like
loved.
just actually
Yeah.
reminding myself that as I am, like right from birth, like you're deserving of love. And yeah, that's kind of a constant
I
reminder.
was gonna say, does that come up for you still? And I guess when we move into talking about like I guess your current life and who you
Mm.
are today, um, we'll hopefully unpack that a bit more then. But just does that come up for you still now? Do you have to keep reminding yourself now, even though you've done so much amazing work
Yeah.
on yourself and
Yeah.
helping others with this very thing, that still comes up for you?
100%. And
Yeah.
I feel that I am getting to this place, or no, I would say I am at this place of acceptance that I will always be doing that.
Yeah.
There will always be things that I will struggle with. There will always
Mm.
be things that I'm insecure about, and there will always be
Mm.
things that, those kind of core woundings that will need that tenderness and that love and that attention. So I think it's just going to be lifelong sort of. I'm never going to
Yeah.
get to a point of just complete confidence and
Yes.
security, and I'm just like, yes, I am. Yeah, I've done it. I've
I've
ticked
done
it
it,
off,
ticked it off,
yeah, ticked off
yeah.
self-development, ticked off
Exa
self-worth, like hallelujah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that it absolutely is a constant reminder. But I think having these conversations really brings a sense of love and normalization to it. I'm
Yeah.
not like, oh, I should, because I'm a coach, I should be this, that, and the next. It's like so nice to like talk about it and not try and pretend like I'm,
No,
you
and you're
know.
so good at doing that. You are so wonderful at doing that. It's just
Mm,
like you are so genuinely authentic and you are
mm,
very vulnerable with I mean, I guess just like the community and like the public, because you post kind of videos about your private life and how you're feeling, and that's really brave. And it's just like, it's so reassuring, especially in the age we're living in now, where we're saying like a lot of social media has historically focused on perfection, and now we're kind of seem to be moving in the
Yeah.
direction of kind of embracing the imperfection and the messiness.
Yeah.
And like a huge part of that is just acknowledging that very point about like, you know, there isn't really for many people going to be this kind of day or this moment where they're like, yeah, I've done it all.
Yeah.
I am literally perfect and everything is like, everything's ticked off. And I
Yeah.
don't actually think that's the point.
No, it's absolutely not the point. And
Yeah.
I do think that, kind of, I think social media contributes to it. And I also think that sometimes my industry contributes to it.
Right.
It's like if you get coaching, you just need a good coach, or you just need, even therapy, and then you can be, happy and free and whatnot. And it's like,
Mm.
I actually I think that there's a lot of like selling the dream, but it's not even the people that are selling the dream are living that dream that they're selling. So
Yeah.
it's, I think I just want to be the person that I would want to learn from and hear from and be
Yeah.
supported by. I don't need perfect
Mm.
perfection. I don't need perfection to learn from. I
No.
need authenticity, and I need honest mirrors, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think something that's coming up right now is thinking about, I guess what's really useful is knowing the tools that work for you and having the systems that work for you, and like working on that as much as you can, so that like when things do come up or when life does get hard, you have them in your toolbox.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that's kind of it seems the work that you do is very focused on like just building those tools. Like if you have
Mm.
more tools in your toolbox, great. You're gonna make a great
Mhm.
like handy person, right? Because you have more tools. Nobody wants just like one screwdriver. That's how I
I love
think about it.
that.
I always create like little like images. You know what I mean?
That really works for my visual brain, so I love
Yeah.
that. Nobody wants one
Nobody wants
screwdriver.
just one screwdriver. We were talking
Yes.
earlier about how I've always, I create little like visual, almost like movies or like sketches in my brain. And we were saying like with self-development work, when you kind of start reading about it and listening to podcasts and talking about it, it feels really uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times you just want to like run away from it and just not like, it's like Pandora's box kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But much like when a physical wound is healing, it gets like itchy and a bit gross and it looks like a bit dodge.
Mhm.
That's it, healing. And I would always hear from my mum, like, Amy, that's good. That's a sign that it's like on its way to kind of like getting better, so to
Yeah.
speak. But I think it's the same sort of thing like with your work. It's great because you're not saying to people, I'm going to heal you into this like perfect version.
Yeah.
You're saying like, I'm going to work with you to help add some more tools in there
Yes, yes,
that you can
absolutely.
use when things do come up. And I think much like meditation practice, it's like you can't stop the thoughts from
Mhm,
coming up. They're
mhm.
going to pop up anyway. It's the awareness
Yeah.
and it's the reaction to them where you
Yeah.
can see that kind of space start to grow.
Oh, absolutely. And I
Um,
think, that kind of analogy around like when you have an open wound and, at the start it's very, gory and bloody and whatnot. And then it
yeah.
kind of starts to heal. But in that healing process, it does, as you say, it kind of starts to get a bit itchy, or then it gets scabby and it kind of starts to look uglier at some points before it then starts to fully heal. And I think that what is so interesting, and I see it a lot. I mean, I think it relates to what we're talking about here,
Yeah.
where I thought, like, when I started doing this kind of inner work and looking at myself honestly and exploring parts of myself that I've never explored, I found that I almost felt unhappier.
Mhm.
And I just remember feeling like one day being like so confused because I was like, I feel like I'm more sad. I feel
Mm.
like I'm crying more. I feel like I'm angry more. I feel like I'm losing friends more. This was not why I did this. I was like, what the hell is the point of doing inner work if I feel worse than what I did at the start?
Yeah.
And the realization there for me was that it's not that I was happier before doing this inner work, it's that I was just really skillful at avoiding, suppressing, ignoring the parts of me that were sad, the parts of me that were in need of, attention, the anger, the jealousy, the all of those other emotions.
Yeah.
I just was like, no, I'm not allowed to have those. So I kind of numbed them and I really put happiness on this pedestal. And I was like, that
Right.
whole like, I'm positive and just see the happy side to life. So in a sense, it did seem like I was happier before doing this work, but
Yeah.
actually where I'm at now is much more authentic.
Yeah.
Like I don't just love the happy part of me. I love the sad part of me. I love the insecure part of me. I love
Yeah.
and sometimes I don't love those parts and I also welcome that.
Yes.
So it's I think for me a lot of my work is less about happiness and feeling better, and more about knowing
Just
who you authentically are and being
yeah.
able to be with that and be with those emotions.
Mm. So much to unpack there. I feel like we could literally talk for
I
like
know.
all day. Um, when you said there you felt like you weren't allowed to be anything else, do you think, I suppose that sort of seems like it relates to what you said about, when you would hear your parents talking about you and people talking about you in a certain way, it almost like created this bar for
Mm.
you, right? That you felt like you needed to always meet. And so yeah, like day to day when I guess you were in that version of yourself that just you were thinking like I need to be up here. You literally said I'm not allowed to be anything else. That's such a heavy weight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, and it was heavy, and the kind of how it looked or how it kind of played out was like one, I was in relationships and friendships that were not serving
Yeah.
for either of us. Like
Right.
I would find myself in friendships that maybe felt good on the surface, but kind of if you took a closer look, there was a lot of toxic behaviors
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And so because there was a whole large part of
Mm.
myself that I didn't allow, it meant that I was kind of, yeah, unaware of kind of entering into these sort of relationships and
Mm.
friendships that were not good for me. But I kind of was just like, it's fine,
Right.
it's fine. Um,
Yeah, it's like a form of people pleasing as well, isn't it?
well, that's what I was doing. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, because I wanted to feel good all the time and I wanted to feel happy. If I had conflict with someone or if I had a feeling of this
Mm.
doesn't feel good, instead of communicating that, I was like, well, that's going to make the other person feel uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I don't want them to, that's what I would say. I would say, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. But the truth of it was, I don't want to
To
feel
feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
So I'm not going to set a boundary. I'm not going to express how I really feel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, I just go with the flow. I'm super chill. Like, it's all good. People please, brush under the rug. And so, yeah, wouldn't have these important
Mm.
conversations.
Mm.
And then I would wonder why these relationships were so out of alignment. And so then when I
Mm.
did start to be kind of more honest with myself and how I was feeling, that's when these friendships and relationships that benefited off my lack of boundaries started to break down because
Yeah.
they had to.
Yes.
Because it was like if I'm in a if my the relationship that I'm in is based off me not expressing my true self, then that's not a relationship that I
No,
want to be in,
it's not. No,
But I like
absolutely.
say these words, but it was fucking uncomfortable,
Oh my
like,
God,
oh
it
my,
is so
it was the
uncomfortable.
worst. Like,
Oh,
it was the worst, but
but on that point, Courts, is like this is just something I've been thinking about in my own life recently. It's like oftentimes the uncomfortable thing that we're avoiding. Say, for example, you had like a friendship that you knew there was stuff going on under the surface, but you didn't want to acknowledge it. It's often not the conversation itself that we fear, but the consequences of it, right? Not all the time, but sometimes it's like, it's actually not the sitting down and actually just, you can say the words. It's more like the consequence, what could happen from that. And it's like, I've tried to apply that in my own life in the sense of like, okay, like I can do the conversation. I just need to get comfortable with what could possibly come from that. But what has given me more confidence is realizing that 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, nothing is ever going to be worth compromising my self-worth or my sense of self. So then that will always play the top trump, which is a good way of putting it. But if you don't articulate what the consequences could be that you are afraid of, then in your brain, it will often seem like they trump everything else.
That.
So it's like playing top trumps with yourself. And it's like, is it really worth your sense of self-peace or self-respect?
I
like,
so
you know?
Yeah.
And that has honestly given me the confidence to have really uncomfortable conversations in the past year that needed to happen because that energy's there. It's got to go somewhere.
Oh, that's so good. I just feel like so many people need to hear this, you know? And it is that people often say to me, like, Courts, how do you set boundaries? I don't know how to set boundaries. And I'm like, no, you do know how to set boundaries because you literally said word for word the boundary that you wanted to set with this person. You're like, I don't know how to set a boundary with this person. They're doing this. That makes me feel like this. And this is the need, this is what I need them to do. I'm like, that you've literally just said to me what you need from them and what the boundary that's been crossed. So it's not that you don't know how to set a boundary. It's that you don't trust yourself to handle the outcome of it. It's that you are scared of the outcome, and that's so like natural and normal. And I think this is the kind of point of my work and what we're talking about with the tools. It's like being able to soothe and sit with yourself after the experience. It's not about how do I set boundaries without feeling guilty? How do I set boundaries without the person thinking I'm this, that, and the next? It's like, actually, that's out of your control. But what you can do is care for yourself in that moment and learn how to kind of soothe and be with that discomfort.
Yeah.
And the other piece of that, I really love that you said, and I think it's so like, want to like repeat it so like people really hear that, is that you're scared of what they might do or that they might leave you. But if you actually write it down, like, what are you scared of? And then is that worse than abandoning yourself or sacrificing your own needs? Like when you look at them side by side, like you tell me.
Yeah.
And that's, oh God, that's so uncomfortable to face, right?
It is. And the easier thing to do is to abandon yourself oftentimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the easier thing. It's almost like, it's kind of like the easy way out. Well, I'll just abandon myself because it's like less admin or something. I don't know.
And that, like this right here is so important because it is easier in the moment, but in the long run, it's so much fucking harder.
Exactly. Sorry, exactly that.
Oh.
It seems the easier thing in the short term, but it is a very pernicious thing over time.
Yeah.
That's exactly. And thank you for clarifying that because it's absolutely not easy.
It's like pain
it's like
now
choose your
or pain
hard sort
later.
of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing, isn't it? Choose your hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think, when these kind of intangible things in life are articulated like you do in your work, like it's actually so important. But it's all kind of intangible.
I know.
Like you can't, what is like this? Like it's not math. Like we can't see it. The formula is really like, there are kind of formulas, I guess, but in life, it's like we're all trying to figure it out. And that's why I just absolutely have so much respect for what you do because you do it so well. You do it so well. And when you do, like I saw this quote the other day, what's his name? The Die Without Regrets guy on Instagram, Lex Friedman, is it? Is that the right? Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah. And he, one of the illustrations he put up recently was really cool graphic, and it said, "What you avoid grows teeth."
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, damn.
That's good.
And that's the thing, right? It's maybe easy in the time,
Yeah.
but my God, like over,
Yeah.
the
And
course
I
of
think what we're really speaking to here, and if like somebody wanted something tangible to take away from even
mm,
just this specific conversation, is that it really comes back to that radical honesty piece.
mm,
And it's like just just learning and practicing day by day in small ways to be honest with yourself, you know? And that might like I guess one of this screwdriver in the toolbox for me, one of those tools is journaling
yeah,
because that was I really struggled to be fully honest with how I was feeling or what I was needing.
yeah,
And so journaling felt like a safer, still felt scary, but felt like a safer place to be like, what am I actually feeling? What's actually going on here? Not filtering it through what will they think or how will this land or, it's just like, okay, this is how I'm feeling.
yeah,
I know it's easier said than done, but I think a big piece here is honesty.
yeah. And when you're journaling, Court, do you often, you'll probably do it various ways, but do you often sit down and just have like a blank piece of paper and then you just start writing? Do you use, because I know obviously in Curious Minds you'll use different prompts and
Yeah.
different questions or quotes to go off of? Like, how often do you just sit down and let the things come up? Because I think hopefully that'll be quite useful for people to hear about, because I've been thinking a lot about how it's actually, even prepping for this episode, there's a tendency now to just go to Chat GPT. Of
Mhm.
course there is. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest about that.
Yeah.
But for this particular episode, I was like, I'm gonna take a blank piece of paper, ended up being three, and just start like
Mhm.
letting it all come out from in me
Yeah.
rather than seeing something and going off of that.
I love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
I'm not against AI. I'm not against ChatGPT.
No.
I think it's very much that whole thing of like, you can imagine parents and then their kids growing up in the like technology age and social media age. It's like don't just take their phones away from them because
No,
it's like you
no.
gotta you gotta find a way to be able to work with it. And I think the same goes with AI. It's like, look, it's not going anywhere. And so I think
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that there's real value in that and being able to have certain things reflected back to you. But journaling is a tool that helps you to know yourself,
Yeah.
not something outside of you, whether it's a person or AI to tell you who you are. It's actually
Yeah.
you are, sitting with your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own words and really like it's uncomfortable and it's messy, but I think you need to allow yourself to feel that.
Yeah.
I think you need to allow yourself to feel messy and feel resistance and
Yeah.
meet discomfort and meet uncertainty.
Absolutely.
um so that's really important, but in terms of like kind of what I would do or where I would suggest people to start, because that's really common that like I really want to journal, but it's I don't know where to
Mm.
start, and two, it's I'm scared what I will uncover, that
Mm.
whole Pandora's box. But I think in terms of where to start, the keep it simple. If you're like, okay, I could do this prompt and then I could do this journaling technique and then I could it's just for me, if I have too many ways of doing something, I'm
Yeah.
gonna not do it at all,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
So what I would suggest, and I'm gonna like force myself to not give any other like techniques is just to kind of set a timer, maybe 3 minutes every day or once a week, like whatever
Yeah.
feels doable for you, or whenever you get the pull,
Mm.
set a timer, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute,
Mm.
and just write.
Mhm.
Write how you're feeling, write like whatever kind of comes to your mind,
Mhm.
what's going on in your life and how you feel about it.
Mm.
Like that could be just the place that you start, and in the beginning it will feel really pointless. it will honestly feel pointless because you're like, I just feel like I'm doing, just stating, oh, today I went
Today I
to,
went to the
I went to,
supermarket.
and I brought some bananas. It's like, but
Yeah.
it's not just what you did, but how you feel about it. I think that's that, like, it's just the key point there is like really uncovering how you feel. So set a timer and write about how you feel.
Mhm.
I I know I'm kind of like making that sound really simple, but
It's hard.
it
So
is.
much resistance. Mhm.
There's a lot of resistance, but I think if you expect it to be easy from the get-go, then like you failed. Like, like
Yes.
you're never gonna follow through with it. But if you
Yeah.
treat it as like this is going to feel messy and this is gonna feel hard and that's part of it, let me try and write for the entire 3 minutes and
Yes.
just kind of have a practice with that.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I do. I don't really have sometimes I'll do journal prompts maybe, but most of the time, and it's daily, it's like I will write,
Mhm.
this is how I'm feeling. And
As
I try to be
honest.
as honest as possible. And I was starting to notice, particularly in the last year, that I wasn't being honest and that I was keeping it pretty surface level.
Ah,
And I
interesting.
was like, no, 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 Courts, we need to remove that filter again because you're going back into like surface level. And I think there's a discomfort with being really honest.
Mhm.
But that's where I'm at right now is like leave the filter and just write. Like be be judgmental, be unrealistic, be messy, like feel angry, feel jealous, feel insecure, like feel happy, feel in love, feel whatever it is,
Mm.
and just like let it out. So yeah, I
Mm.
think that's a real practice for me is the unfiltered feelings journal.
Mm.
Mm.
Why do you think that you were being surface level in the last year?
I
Do you
think,
know?
yeah, I think there I look back at even some of the practices that are really meaningful to me, and that help me to care for myself, such as meditation and journaling. Like those two are really big for me. And honestly, I feel like like bringing someone else into my life and having like my relationships change. It was like, yeah, I kind of stopped focusing on myself and then focusing on a partnership. I wouldn't say that that's the only thing, but there was something about last year
Mm.
that, and I guess what I think is probably important to say here, and I heard this on a podcast with James Clear who was talking about habits,
Yeah.
is that we kind of have this idea that habits needs to be, the same habit and we need to be doing it day in and day out. And if we stop doing it, then we've gone off track.
Right.
And I think
Mm.
for me, what I'm taking away is like, yes, there were certain things that I stopped doing, but I was having much more hard conversations in person. I was
Right.
having like these other parts of my life were being more amplified,
Mm.
and my kind of self care pieces, such as meditation and journaling, weren't as present. And it's not necessarily to say that that is wrong, but it's more to say that that wasn't a priority for me in that season.
Yeah.
And I, like, at the start of this year, I was like, oh, I'm feeling a really like what's super important to me when being in a relationship with someone is to not lose my sense of self.
Yeah.
So I can acknowledge that I was, really in that season of kind of bringing, coming together with someone.
Yeah.
And now I've kind of in this space where I want to maintain and nurture that and
Yeah.
also still keep that sense of self for me and these tools like meditation and journaling
Yeah.
really allow that. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Mm.
Just like embracing, yeah, like not punishing yourself for
Yeah.
maybe feeling like you've
Gone off track or
gone off track
yeah.
or dropped the ball. It's like the same kind of idea, I guess, of like just being comfortable with allowing different versions and accepting that, rather than like feeling like, even if we take those examples, like the standard was meditating and journaling every day, and I'm not meeting that. So I'm like, I'm not allowed to not do that.
Exactly.
And I guess in many ways, Court, like I was thinking about this just prepping for your episode, like you have such a wonderful reputation, which is really just like so deserved because you're so consistent with in your life. And I think like with the community and with the work that you do. And just when you were talking there about like your parents talking about you to other people, I wanted to ask you about whether you feel pressure. I know obviously you have done so much work to accept the different versions of yourself, but whether you sometimes feel a pressure to, I guess, meet that, version all the time for people that know you and that work with you and that come to Curious Minds and do your program. Like,
I think that's a really good question, and it's actually something that I've been thinking about recently because it's kind of come up a few different times around, like hearing kind of certain people's opinion about me, and some of them like really beautiful and some of them not good.
oh,
And
okay.
yeah,
Mm.
and kind of just for me realizing that it's all out of my control. People's perceptions of me. I think some people will hold me on this pedestal. Some people will be waiting for me to put a foot wrong. Some people
Mm.
will not even give a second thought to me. Like what other people, how other people perceive me is not my responsibility. And I don't say that in a like, you're responsible. Like I don't say it in a sassy way, but just really like I have to kind of let go of like I'm letting go of any pressure
Yeah.
to have to maintain a perception. And I
Yeah.
think that just comes back to that authentic, like when I
Mm.
am truly my authentic self. It's not my authentic self isn't my happy self. My authentic self isn't my kind self. My authentic self, it is just a dynamic how I am feeling and just a expression of who I am in this present moment.
Mm.
And some people, depending on what moment you see me in, it will be, sunshine, and other times I won't even bloody talk to you or look at you. And I can't control that. So I'm not gonna hold that weight
Yes.
to live up to your kind of standard of me.
Yeah.
Um
So refreshing.
yeah, it I think it is actually easier now. That used to be just kind of lip service, but now I'm like, oh no, I actually cannot control it. So
No.
I just want to focus on the only thing that I can control, which is my own opinion of myself, how I see myself, how I speak to myself, what I think about myself. That is so much more worth
Mm.
my energy
Mm.
than trying to live up to person A, B, and C, their opinion of me.
100%. And like acknowledging that, we all do have a relationship with ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
We do. Like I've said this before, probably in multiple episodes, because I just loved this episode so much on modern wisdom with Naval Ravikant. It's like one of my favorite podcast episodes of all time
Okay, I've got
because
to
it was
listen.
just filled, like packed with just like so many good takeaways.
Yeah.
And in that episode, the guest Naval, talks about self-esteem and how we're always watching ourselves. We're always aware of what we are doing, and obviously we're all human and imperfect. And as we're saying, we can embrace the messiness. But you know, say for example, like I stole something, or I was mean to somebody, or I like for no reason, like I would know that.
Mm.
And maybe I get away with it. Maybe I take the thing from the shop and nobody catches me and I steal it. And I'm really happy with myself because I've gotten away with it. I'll still know that I stole the thing, right? So you're
Mhm.
creating that relationship with yourself doing like certain things. And I guess like you can flip that and think about it positively as well. Like when I do something for other people or in the service of others, or, you know, I just do something that I'm proud of, I will also know that. And I will also
Mhm.
have watched myself do that, you know? And so it's just actually acknowledging that we all do have a relationship with ourselves,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
love that. As you were talking, I was kind of thinking about like how and why we feel disconnected.
Mm.
And I think there's this idea of ourselves of like who we are trying to be or how we want to be seen, and then who we are. And the further away those two images are, the more disconnected we will feel. And the closer they are, the more aligned. So who I am is like I'm exactly who I say I am. I'm exactly who I think I am. And like I think the closer that is, the more kind of security or rootedness you have in yourself, the more connection you have with yourself. Because it's like I'm not trying to maintain a facade. I just am an integrity with who I say that I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like I wouldn't say that I'm like perfectly in alignment. I wouldn't say that,
Mm.
I think there's a version of myself who I want to be and who I'm trying to be. And then there's the person that I know I am. I wouldn't say that they're 100% in alignment, but I am, really conscious of bringing those two closer. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Totally. Makes total
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah.
I really, it's so funny. I really want to, like everything you're saying, I want to be like, but we've had to discuss this on the podcast that that's really annoying for people to
Do you
listen
know,
to.
because I've been on a few
So
podcasts and I like noticed myself
I'm
being
like,
like, oh my God, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
totally.
and it's just like Jack's like, can you not do? Because I need to edit that out. So
Oh no.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, with your face, you're with your face.
Yeah, I'm trying, it's like I'm conscious of it, but no, that makes total sense.
Mm.
And I think,
Whoopsie, I was like,
you're like,
you like that, Jack?
okay,
Oh my God,
I love
love
it. Yeah, I think that, frick, I don't know. I've just been thinking about how it's like, I was even just reading a blog post this morning and it was so nice. And it was like this guy just talking about how for like 30 years he's been just thinking about the higher version of himself, whatever that is, like feels like that day, and just being like, how can I move closer to
Mm.
that person that's, I guess, behaving from love or acting from love and alignment, and like actually having an idea of that person in your mind, and then I guess just like making decisions or acting in a way that is in alignment with that version, rather than just, I guess, coasting through or just kind of expecting to live life as that person when you haven't really articulated what that version is,
Mhm.
who that person is. And I guess it got me thinking about like my aversion to goal setting as well, because it's like I've just kind of thus far just floated along a little bit. I mean, I went to uni and I did all of that, but when I moved here, I just was kind of like, I'll just really let life go and I'll just flow. And like that has served me in many ways. But I think I'm now accepting that actually we can put in some gentle
Yeah.
direction here. And that's that, like, it's a little bit scary for me, but it's like I think it will be really productive. I don't have to be afraid of that so
Yeah.
much. Like if I don't, say I set a certain focus in the next year, like if I don't achieve that in its perfect form, like that's okay. But the guidance there was what was helpful. The
Mhm.
nudging of the kind of like, well, maybe this way, right? And
Yep.
I think like doing that for ourselves as well is sometimes quite useful.
Yeah, I love that, and I think as you said, you kind of had your like, you know, background and then you moved here and it was a very like it was a different chapter and different focuses and it sounded like that was exactly what you needed,
Mhm.
just to be able to float for a bit, to be able to just like exhale, and just follow your kind of intuition and
Mm.
see what happens. And I think that's really beautiful to kind of be in that space, and then also recognizing when you need that kind of that anchor or that
Mhm.
those kind of structures. And now, you're kind of feeling into that, right? So then you're adjusting. I think it's similar to like, my self-care practices look different last year to what they are starting to look like this year. And it's not
Yeah.
that I've gone off track and that I've lived wrong or done anything wrong. It was just like, okay, that wasn't the necessarily the priority. And so now that you're feeling into it, it's like, okay, so what does this look like?
Yeah.
And I think that especially when it comes to goal setting, again, like we can really use it as a weapon against ourselves, right? We've kind of talked about that a lot in this episode where we can have these standards of ourselves, or you can see it with higher self sort of creation. It's like, oh, this is the person I want to be, and I'm so far from that person. Again, using it as a weapon against yourself. Or this is the
Yes.
goal that I want to achieve and I haven't achieved it, I've failed. Weapon against yourself.
Right.
So it's like you can use these things that are really beautiful as, you know weapons against yourself, or you can use it to explore yourself
Yes.
and to experience the full human potential, right? And
Yes.
so that's like, I love to look at goal setting in that way of having a bit of um a north star, having, something new that you want to try, experience, do, achieve. And I love the quote. I don't know if this is the exact quote and I don't know who said it. Um, but if the goal is to experience, then you can never fail. And so it's this kind of reminder that on the way towards something that you want to achieve, you are naturally going to grow and change and learn and feel different things. And that is never going to be a bad thing,
No.
right? Like
Mhm.
that is such a to have this like one time on earth and to really be able to explore like who am I, and what do I want to explore, and who am I in this environment, and who am I when I try this new thing. It's like,
Yeah.
don't we want to experience that and explore that and learn who we are in these different sort of spaces. And so I think
Yeah.
it's that kind of learning. It's less about, this is a tidy way of saying this, but it's less about the outcome and more about who you become in the process towards that,
Yes.
right? That's like
Yeah, I
what I'm
love
interested in. Yeah,
that.
what I'm curious about.
And feeling the
And feeling
feelings.
feeling exactly, yeah.
Oh man, so much. I don't know. It's like just there's so many ways now that we can all not feel the feelings and just numb ourselves.
Yeah.
Thinking of a brilliant quote from Call Me by Your Name, the movie with Timothy Chalamet,
Mhm.
and the end scene, one of the ending scenes in the quote, the dad says, "We rip out something like I'm paraphrasing, but we rip out so much of ourselves to be cured faster that we go bankrupt by the age of 30, but to feel nothing so as not to feel anything, what a waste."
Mm.
I've
Wow.
just always loved that quote because it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, to feel nothing so as not to feel anything, what a waste. It's kind of like,
Always.
yeah,
I love that so much. And I think about love and how, like heartbreak, for example. Oh my God, that is like physically painful,
yeah,
you know? And it's a extremely difficult experience.
mm,
And, when people go through the thick of it, they're like, never again. And they close their heart and they, try to move forward with this sense of control and walls. And it's kind of that whole thing of you cannot just numb one feeling. If you numb one feeling, you numb them all. You
right,
cannot select, I want to feel that, but I don't want to feel that. If you want to feel joy, you have to feel sorrow. If you want to feel love, you have to feel grief. If it's like you
right,
cannot pick and choose what you will and won't feel. It's
yeah,
like you either feel nothing or everything, and I choose everything every single time.
yeah. The polarity of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's so good. Oh, I want to. Should we go? We've probably been talking for ages, but I don't care. Let's keep going. So,
Sorry, boys.
sorry, boys. um, can we go back to court? So you leave school a year early to go to study sports science, was it?
Yeah,
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 sports
yeah,
science in Wellington.
yeah, yeah.
In Wellington, and was that 3 years, 4 years? Like,
So I studied, well, I can't remember the first part of it, but it was essentially exercise prescription,
yep.
which I remember when I like s- applied to do it, I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, but now I'm like,
Yeah.
you are someone that prescribes exercise, aka
Ah,
personal
yeah.
trainer. So
Yes, yeah.
so yeah, I studied exercise prescription for 2 years and
Yeah.
then moved straight into working. Well, not straight into working as a personal trainer. That was a whole kind of path, but
Mm.
I studied for 2 years.
Right,
Mm.
amazing. And then you set up your first company, your first business, which was Body Love New Zealand,
Yeah,
right?
so how it kind of went down, like I studied for 2 years
Mm.
um and then I didn't know what I the whole time I was studying, it wasn't that I was like, I want to be a personal trainer or
Yeah.
anything like that. I was just like, I just love sport, so
Yep.
let's just see what happens. And then when I finished studying, I was like, okay, I still don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to lose what I've learned in the last 2 years. So I know that I need to stay in this space in order to like maintain that and learn more.
Yep.
And so I applied to work at Les Mills,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a what do you call it, gym instructor. So I
Yep.
was employed by the gym and just kind of got to be in that space. During that time, I went through a lot of like shit personally and was in toxic
Right.
relationship, and I was partying all the time, and it was a whole
Yeah.
ride. This was my early 20s.
Yeah.
I then went to Sydney to like get away from my ex at the time and like
Ah.
fucked around for 4 months in Sydney,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Actually, I wanna come back," and so there was, kind of from about 20 to 23, was very much, like, partying and, like, toxic
Mm.
relationships and
Mm.
kind of, like, just
Numbing.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
numbing, and I was also training, but I would say, overtraining. I was kind of going through these, like, ups and downs where I'd, like, I'd either be like binging and, getting
Mm.
injured and have terrible skin and just be like, yeah, fully numb. And then I'd kind of go into these phases of like, I need to like lose weight or look a certain way. I really went through a lot of that at
Yes.
that time.
Swinging between the
Yeah.
extremes. Yeah.
But I had three people in my life at that point of time that were considerably older than me,
Mm.
who were in, I would say, like mentoring positions. So I worked part time at Adidas.
Oh yeah.
So my manager there, and then I worked still as a gym instructor at Les Mills, my manager there, and then another like personal trainer who'd been there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And all three of them like saw something in me that like beneath all the partying and the crazy courts, like they
Yeah.
saw something in me and like really like spoke to it and nurtured it. And they were
Mm.
kind of like, I think that you would be incredible at
Mm-hmm.
like if you were a personal trainer, I think that you would be really incredible. And we want to see you kind of do that, and we believe in you. And honestly, I like owe so much to these people because they really kind of like broke a circuit that was happening at that point,
Right.
and so
That's really cool.
yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really special to think about these people, and so,
Mm.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't imagine, like, running my own business," but to be a personal trainer at Les Mills, you automatically became a sole trader, and so I was like, knew
Ah.
nothing about business, knew nothing about taxes. I was, like, really just like, "Okay, let's just see how we go,"
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I think gosh, I think that was 2014
Yep.
maybe that
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started my own business and became a
Mm-hmm.
sole trader. And then, yeah, it was personal training, ended up doing really, really well and loving
Yeah.
it. And through that, I through the personal
Yeah.
training and kind of going through the ups and downs with like body image and overtraining and, just the kind of tendency of the toxic gym environment, I
Yeah.
wanted to create a space that was outside of that kind of toxic culture
Mhm.
where it was women together. And so I started something outside of the gym based
Yeah.
on my own personal experiences. And
Mhm.
that was kind of my first, like, I guess, company of like,
Mhm.
that was Body Love Blueprint. So that was where my path kind of started.
That's so
Yeah. I
cool.
really like kind of tried to condense it as much as possible there, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you've done so much. So then you did Body Love Blueprint, and that was how long did you do that for?
So Body Love Blueprint, what it was a space where it was essentially a boot camp.
Mhm.
I ran this boot camp twice a week, and we would move our bodies, but we wouldn't talk about weight, we wouldn't talk about scales. There would be no competition. There would just be community and
Yeah.
connection. We would talk about gratitude at the start of our, and like in 2016, this was, yeah, kind of around that time.
Mhm.
Didn't really like hear much about like body love
Mhm.
or community and that sort of
No,
thing. Like it
yeah,
was
I don't
just, yeah,
yeah.
not really talked about. But I was like, no, this is a space where you can come and you can feel safe moving your body, whatever your body looks like come, and then we would do kind of hikes together or book clubs, or I'd host goal setting nights and things like that.
That's
So
so
it was, oh,
fun.
honestly, it was the like light of my life, and just it lit a
Yeah.
fire in me that like personal training could never.
Right, yes.
So yeah, that kind of, I was doing that maybe till 2017, 2018, and then I kind of left Les Mills, left the
Mhm.
gym altogether, and just focused on
Fun.
my own kind of brand and building that. Yeah.
So did that feel scary at the time, stepping into these
It
new
felt,
chapters? Was it just
honestly,
exhilarating?
no, it felt terrifying. And okay, it
Yeah.
felt exhilarating and terrifying, but I think, yeah, when I tell the story of kind of my business trajectory, I look back and I'm like, "Oh, it's like when I have that knowing,
Mhm.
then I don't really think, and I just am like, "No, this is happening."
Yeah.
And at the time, like, personal training wise, I was doing really, really well. Like, I look back and I'm like, I
Mm.
remember traveling Europe, and like basically I
Ah.
took like me and my sister over to Europe. I just never looked at my bank account. Like, I
Oh,
was just like,
right, like, financially,
I was
like, as
like
well,
doing
yeah.
great. And I was personal training, and then I had these like boot camps filled with like, I think I was like working with like 70 women at a time. Like it was honestly booming.
Whoa,
And
yeah.
then I was like, okay, I just want to go all in on this, and I want to leave the kind of safety and security of my job.
Yeah.
And I left, and at the time I kind of changed everything about the boot camp structure, and it went, it's a whole other kind of story, but like it went from working with 70 women at a time to, I kind of put it into like a membership sort of structure,
Yeah.
but didn't really think about it, didn't do any research on it. And then I like had 4 people sign up, and I can't even understand like what went so wrong. But
Right.
from
Oh,
going from all my
right.
personal training clients and like
Yeah.
this, like these like really busy boot camps, to then having like 4 women, I remember leaving the boot camp after that first session and like crying to my friend and be like, "What have I done?" Like
Yeah.
and kind of during that time of like 2 years after leaving the safety of, working for a company, I
Mm.
really like built a strong relationship with money, and like learning how to like respect it and look after it, and I learnt about how important purpose and yeah, kind of making a meaningful impact in people's lives was to me. So
Mm.
even though financially I was like, wow, don't know how I'm gonna like pay rent.
I will
Literally,
never
I
financially
don't know how I'm gonna
recover
pay
from that.
pay rent.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
I,
god,
it was
wow.
terrifying, but now I look back and I'm like, fuck, if I can do that, like, I can do anything. And I was just led by, this like this purpose. So
Mm.
yeah, it was absolutely terrifying, but I'm like so grateful that I kind of,
Took that
yeah,
leap.
took that leap for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just kind of, like, embrace the uncertainty and that kinda bridge between obviously doing so well
Yeah.
and then having this feeling of, like, well, there's actually other things that I wanna go and explore, and then you have to kinda have that, that period of uncertainty and
Yeah.
scariness, because otherwise everyone would do it,
Oh,
right, you know?
absolutely. Like if there was certainty and I knew how everything was gonna pan out, then like everyone would be doing it. But there's
Yeah,
just so much of like just having to take the leap and trust that not only not only trust that it will work out, but trust that you will be okay either way.
yeah.
I think it was just I really like had my own back and just knew that like I would whatever happened, like I would be okay and I would
Mm,
figure it out. And I think I've got like I talk about, certain core beliefs that maybe don't serve me, but I've also got some core beliefs that
really
really,
strong.
really do serve me, and
Yeah.
it's really nice to pay attention to. I actually believe that whatever happens, like I will figure it out, and I've got me, So that's
So good.
yeah, yeah.
Because when you go through life with that, it's like, yeah, it's like you've got your own little home that you can come back to in yourself.
Mhm.
And as you say, like, and as we've said, like, there's always life is so unpredictable. Like, there's always going to be ups and downs and chapters where you're like, oh, I don't actually feel as. But I feel like there's one friend in particular back home, and I've always, again, with my visual images, like, she has really strong Christian faith, and I think a lot of it comes from that. But I have always, like, seen her as almost like having like a steel rod like running through her.
Mm.
She's just like, she's called Sarah, she's amazing. I've told her this many times. It's just like, she's just so solid. Like, and she's a prosecutor in Scotland, like a procurator fiscal. Like, she has a really stressful job, and she's now a mum, and she's just, yeah, there's been so many different chapters, but like throughout it all, she's had that. It's almost like I can see it like this, just
Yeah,
like steel
wow.
thing, like where it's just like we might like wave a little bit, but it
Mhm.
will always be there.
Yeah.
And it's just been so cool
I
to
love that,
to
yeah.
watch
I
that, you
hear that, and
know?
I hear, like, unwavering, like, it's just, like, there yeah, that's
She's
it's beautiful,
solid.
and I think
Yeah.
that is what I want to continue to invest my time, energy, and money in is, like, really fostering that core sense of self and knowing that money can be taken away from me, relationships can break down, certain crazy things in history in the world and all of that
Yeah.
can happen, but at the end of the day, like, my sense of self, my values, my belief and trust in who I am, like, it can't be taken away from me. I'm like,
Mm.
so it doesn't matter what happens or where I go,
Yeah.
like, I've always got me. And so
Yeah.
like I'm like, why wouldn't I invest my time
Mm.
and energy into, yeah, really nurturing and cultivating that kind of strong,
Yeah.
yeah, that strong self.
Rather than, I guess, always only ever, I guess, investing in the external things,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah,
putting
exactly.
time and energy into like trying to control others' opinions of us, which are also very changeable
Yeah.
and can be impacted as well, right?
Like
It's
the
so
whole thing of like the only thing that is certain is what is it? Oh my God, I'm butchering it. It's like something about
death.
like, yeah, the only certain thing in life is like death and change or something
Or
like that.
yes,
So
I
it's
know exactly the
it
quote, and I can't think and remember either. Like,
All right, I'm
the
absolutely
only
butchering this.
death
Okay.
and taxes. Who
Okay.
said that?
Who's I'm sh
Death and taxes.
yeah.
Um, so we were just at. So you've moved from um your mentoring, like this kind of coaching 70 women, into doing like a membership. Was that still
Yes.
within Body Love Blueprint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Are we recording? Are we
Yeah,
like
we're yeah.
good to so in 2016, and you kind of touched on this at the start, because at the time of filming this is 2026, and being like reflecting back on the last 10 years, and particularly 10 years ago, 2016, like a lot kind of changed for me then.
Yeah.
And I was working at Les Mills and doing really well there. And then I started these boot camps and they were thriving.
Mhm.
And at the end of 2015, I applied and got a sponsorship for a program called Live the Dream.
Mm.
And so Live the Dream basically helped entrepreneurs to, yeah, create a business essentially.
Right.
And we had to come up with a new idea, and it was a 9-week program, and we had to come up with a new idea. And so through that program, I created a retreat.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the program, so I had the personal training side of things, but I was finishing up with that. And then I had the boot camps,
Mhm.
and then I was starting the retreat. And I had a friend at the time. We were like newly together, newly friends. After the accelerator, left my job at Les Mills,
Mhm.
and then it was Body Love Blueprint.
Mhm.
But I asked my friend, I was like, we should do this together.
Mm.
And I got really excited about like, oh my gosh, like two mates, and we can like travel the world and we can run these retreats and it'll be
Oh, cool.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we were really like riding that high. And so she came into the business,
Ah,
and
okay.
we changed it from Body Love Blueprint to just Body Love New Zealand.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, so then it kind of shifted into that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know where you want me to go from there, but that was like, I think that was a really beautiful and hard experience because it was like really learning a lot about where I want to go. Like I found that from 2016, I was really like, I don't want to talk about squats. I don't want to
Right.
talk about burpees. I don't want to like, honestly don't want to talk about fitness. Like I loved it myself and still do, but I was like, I just it didn't light me up. I want
Yeah.
to talk about humans and their behavior and the psychology and like how they feel and what they desire. And that was what was really
Mm.
lighting me up. And so I think like the the retreats, and then that year I also started doing a lot of workshops, was where I really started to explore self-development. And probably at that point I had been reading so much, like,
Yes, you're an avid reader. We were talking about this
yeah,
earlier. It's
I
amazing.
love books, and I love reading, and I am just like a fiend for like growth and knowledge, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, just can't get enough of it. And so I just had all this like these these amazing books and kind of thoughts that I wanted to share. And so, yeah, so then I like in my community, I would run these sort of workshops, and that was really the start of essentially what I do now. But
Mhm.
in the beginning, it was very like I didn't study psychology and I didn't study anything. I
Yeah.
just kind of was like I just kind of fell into this world. And yeah, I mean, I went through so much imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to be running these sort of workshops? Like, what do I know? But I was like, but the passion and the desire is like
Just
oozing
burning,
out of me, and
yeah.
I have to like I just had to like share. And it seemed to be received really, really well. And so I kind of just always followed that passion and that knowing that that was where I was kind of leading.
Yes, yeah.
Um, yeah.
So cool. And like nice that you just worked through the imposter syndrome, like you didn't let it stop you from doing what you wanted to do. And I think like when you have that kind of passion and that burning desire, like you've got to just ride that wave because it's like it's so special,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
the imposter syndrome is still
Oh
there.
my gosh, same.
She is still hanging out with me. Um, yeah, like I think that probably since I started uh, studying Hakomi,
Yeah.
I think, and that was like kind of in the last sort of 2 years, this time of my life that I'm currently in is the first time that I've ever felt some sense of I actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm actually
100%.
confident to lead in the industry that I'm in and talk about the
Mm.
things that I talk about. But it's I mean, that imposter syndrome is still there, but my God, like, it was really debilitating for the first part of, like,
Right.
kind of moving into life coaching and, kind of steering away from personal training, which is what I was studying in, and then going into this kind of realm that I'm like, "Wow, this is, um, like, who am I to talk about this?" But I had to kind of let that part of me take a back seat and just follow the part of me that knew that I have a gift and that I know what I'm talking about and that
Yeah.
this is really important to me and this is what I'm meant to be doing. So really holding those 2 kind of
Absolutely.
parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just also kind of like recognizing your strengths and then playing into that and amplifying them, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's such a useful exercise to do because we've all got so many different unique strengths. And like just in terms of when I was a lawyer, like I did enjoy many parts of it. And um I did like it a lot in many ways. I mean, it was bloody stressful, but what I realized quite quickly was like it actually wasn't playing on any of my natural strengths. I mean, the client stuff was really I
Mm.
loved it and I loved getting to know I ended up representing individuals and I loved that side of it, the people side. But in terms of like the actual legal work, like I'm very type B and
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
lawyers are so type A. And it's just like
Yeah.
I kind of realized I was like a lot of kind of like I don't know, like different strengths, I guess, that
Mm.
could be way more amplified in my work. And I'm kind of like trying to force myself to like think this way and be this way to do this job.
Yeah.
Um, and why don't
Oh,
I just try and like see what I can do using my own unique strengths as a person, I guess, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like kind of it's so nice that you recognized your gift, right? And you were
Mm.
like, "No, like I'm gonna do this and
Yeah.
make it work," you know?
I think it's easy to overlook your strengths
Mm.
because your strengths feel like, yeah, well, everyone could do that. You know, I think your
Yeah.
strengths are your strengths because they come so easily and naturally. You just exude them, you embody them, that you
Yeah.
don't think that they're anything special because
Yeah.
you're like, well, you just kind of have this. Maybe I can only speak for myself. I just kind of had this assumption, like, of course, like everyone has like the ability to like talk to people or the ability to do this or do that, but it's
Yes.
actually oftentimes I find that our strengths are maybe even hidden because we kind of think that they're too simple or too easy, but
Yeah.
there's a reason for that, and yeah, so it is really it's so nice just like owning, oh yeah, I am good at this, and there are so many parts of what I do that I have to work on and learn and whatnot. But
100%.
like I remember when I first started personal training and I was the youngest personal trainer and walking into the gym and hearing, the experience of all the other older trainers and, the study that they'd done and everything like that. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know enough. And I'm so embarrassed. And like, I hope nobody asked me about anatomy or the like all of this. And then what happened as I was personal training is what I'm what I am really good at is like just owning my own personhood and being able to um, see people and hear people. And I was really good at cultivating like safe, secure relationships.
Yeah.
And as a personal trainer, that's actually it's it's
Fundamental,
yeah,
yeah.
it's fundamental, And so the kind of the more logical side of personal training, I was like, I still want to learn that and I still want to practice that, and um, but I'm actually so glad that my social skills and my personhood and those sort of strengths were what allowed me to be really, really good at what I do. And so, yeah, I
Yes.
think that kind of thinking about it like that, I was like, oh, I don't have to know everything
No.
to be good. Even just being curious enough is a quality. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's what makes life so interesting is that everyone's so different and we all do have different strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
And it's so cool. That's so cool. And like, thank God. It's kind of like, I love this illustration of what is it? The bird and the fish. And it's like, the bird's flying and the fish is like, I can't do that. Like, I'm
Mhm.
rubbish, you know? And like, I've
Yes.
failed or like, I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, you're just not a bird.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I feel like I want to call on Hugo again to be like, can you find the quote from about the
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
monkey? Like it's oh, I'm gonna butcher it again. This is me to a nutshell, but like to a nutshell,
Yeah.
to its fucking this is me to a T. It's like it's the if we judge our like on our ability. Oh, do you have it? Oh,
I love that we're doing this right now. It's
okay. If
like
we judge our
Rogan
ability
shout
to
out.
be like it's something about monkeys and fish or like oh
Yes. Okay.
sorry.
I know, I love it though. I love it. I'm like, what? Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I think that for a long time I was like, yeah, but I can't do that or I don't know that or I'm not like them. It's like, oh, that means that I'm stupid. It's like, no, we just have
Yeah.
different strengths and different weaknesses. And as you said, like how cool
So cool.
that we all are different and have,
Yeah.
like and that's the beauty of curiosity and community, right? Is that we can call on each
Absolutely.
other to be like to acknowledge I'm not good at this or I struggle with this. Can you help me with this? But then
Yes.
also at the same time being able to own your strengths and be like, actually, I am good at this and I know how to
Yes.
do this and I can confidently say I can, help you with this or so it's being able to, yeah, not criticize or shame yourself for not being able to, for having certain weaknesses.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I've always found um well, I just really think that there's just so many different types of intelligence and like my school was a great school in Scotland, state school. And it was just amazing. But I would say that there was a focus on like academic achievement and, there was this kind of culture of just feeling like you needed to get kind of, I guess, like straight A's to again, it's kind of what you were saying at the start of the episode, to feel like you were doing well or
Mhm.
to feel, I guess, valued. And it's just, I always remember thinking like, but what about all the different kind of trades or all the different types of things you can do in the apprenticeships? And like, I've always found like people who work in creative pursuits, like in fashion or in art and museum curation and all these like really creative pursuits, like I just think that's so awesome.
Mm.
And like, I don't know, there's just so much diversity. And I think we're getting better at that in society of like celebrating that there's so many different ways that you can be successful or feel successful. Um so I love, yeah, as I said, I love that you recognize that and then course correct, like kind of just we're like, oh well, maybe we just go down. Like I don't have to just do this path that I've set out on just because I feel like I have to. Like I can course
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the beautiful thing. So in 2020, COVID hit and I was doing like, mentoring. I even had a client and I was very open with her. I was like, look, I'm just exploring this sort of world of life coaching. Um, I can just, show you what I kind of do for myself and we can kind of like just like work together. She was like, amazing. And it was actually so incredible to work with her. And so I was doing a touch of it, but I was still doing the boot camps.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, everything so rapidly went online
Yeah.
and I kind of took my whole business online and I was running live workouts for my community. And then
Mm.
I thought, during this time, people are at home and they don't kind of have their normal sort of routines and potentially numbing behaviors like socializing or overworking or drinking and things like that
Mm.
to they're kind of at home and they're just like forced to be with their thoughts.
Right.
And so a lot of the girls in my community were kind of expressing that they were struggling. And so I wanted to not only bring the physical well-being side to it, but I also wanted to bring in some mental well-being. And so I would run like a weekly workshop like online during COVID.
Right.
And it just landed so well for everyone and it was such a beautiful space. Like I just remember like that ended up being the thing that everyone came to, more so than the workouts. It
Yes.
was like, oh, we just had these like really beautiful and insightful conversations, and then from there I was like, Quartz, this is what you're meant to do. And I think this is really that sign of like all in on this. And so I just decided to completely leave the fitness world behind me, and
Mm.
I just went full in on life coaching, and that was really hard, the kind of identity piece and this is what people know me as, this is what I've done for so long, this is what I'm qualified in. Like this other
Yeah.
world feels so foreign, but also so right.
Yes.
So yeah, it definitely kind of a brave decision, but also the right decision.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think just looking back on the last 5 years, I'm like, wow, I can't
Gosh.
imagine, yeah, not kind of going down
Not
this
going
path.
down this path.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then Worthwhile was born in, was that kind of around the time of you saying that you were kind of setting up these
Yes.
virtual? Yeah.
So Worthwhile actually was born in, it might have been 2018 or 2019. So the friend that I had gone into business with,
Mm.
basically, we essentially had like a divorce. Like it was like we went our separate ways, and it was really horrible. Like it was
Oh,
like,
right.
yeah, it just got to a point where we weren't communicating our kind of roles and how we were showing up in the business, and there was just a lot of miscommunication. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
just it just
happens.
was
Yeah.
it wasn't good, and we both were not happy, and I kinda just said, like, I can't do this anymore," and we had to, like, bring lawyers in. It was just like, yeah,
Right.
it
Yeah.
got really messy, and lost a friendship out of that as
Mm.
well. We're actually, like, on really good terms now, and
Oh,
we talk and
nice.
everything, so it's like it's good now, but at the time, it
Yes.
was horrible.
Yeah.
And I think because of that and how hard it was, I was like, I know that I don't my what I'm doing isn't about body love anymore. It's about so much more than the body. That was the whole point. I was like, I'm tired of talking about women's bodies because we're
Right.
more than our surface. We're more than what we look like.
Yeah.
I actually want to talk about something deeper. And so body love just felt so misaligned. And then when the kind of separation of me and my friend kind of happened, I said, this is a time to do a rebrand and completely rename the business. And so
Mm.
um, me and my sister, like my sister essentially helped me come up with the name Worthwhile.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
yeah, it was really beautiful
Yeah.
that she's going to be always connected to that. And I, at the time of creating Worthwhile, I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I just know that Body Love felt like a pond, and Worthwhile felt like an ocean, and as the ocean is like so much of it is unexplored, and I was like, I feel like this feels like a brand and a name that I can grow into, and that I can really step up and step into. And so it was again like there was a knowing. I couldn't like
Yes.
articulate it, but I was like, I just know that this is something that, yeah. So that was kind of created before COVID, and then as COVID and the kind of life coaching started, yeah, I really did step into it, and yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah,
beautiful. And you started the Worthwhile podcast in 2023,
yes, yeah.
which honestly, just I'm so like excited about the fact that there's like 70 episodes because I'm like, it's basically like just a huge, like amazing free course and just like
Yes.
it just covers so much.
Mm.
And yeah, I want to just touch on that briefly, Courts, because I know that we have spoken about this just when we met up a few months ago about, and you've been open about this, about how you thought about it for so long and then you eventually finally kind of started it. And I know that that was also in like a different chapter of your life because you're not working on it at the moment.
Mhm.
But I guess, can you just talk to us about what it was that made you break through that feeling of like, do you know what, I'm just going to sit down and do this thing that
Mm.
I've been saying to myself I want to do for a while, and like what was, I guess, to have a practical takeaway, like what was the most useful tool in your toolbox that helped you do that at the time?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So I love that you talk about the podcast, because I'm like, that is such a like special part of my business and like a baby to me, and it has brought me so much joy. So it's like really nice to know that it's like not just like some forgotten thing, but actually it still is really
Absolutely.
important to me. And um
Mm.
I thought about it for so long. As I said to you, I was like, I really want to start a podcast and I really want to be able to share. And for me, the podcast was about one, having extra resources for my current clients, so that if we were working on something, say like a particular theme, I was like, I could then send them a particular episode that allows them to go deeper into what we're already working on. So
Yeah.
just helping my clients and giving them more value and resources. Secondly, it was for me to, improve my knowledge and my ability to kind of speak and articulate what I am teaching.
Yeah.
So, for every episode, I really it's not just every episode I'm like, don't plan or think. I'm diving more deeper into it. I'm learning more about that topic. I'm discovering ways to simplify it and articulate it. So it was helping me as a coach to be better and to know more.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, it was that kind of that way of reaching new people who I think long form is just, yeah, a really beautiful way of people are coming onto podcasts to actually be there for a longer period of time as opposed to social media where they're there for a short kind of hit,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so if people are going on to looking at podcasts, they want to be there for, a decent amount of time. And so it was, yeah, really allowing more of me and my work to be seen by people who maybe don't know me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm saying this out loud. I'm like, man, it just makes so much sense to, to do.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it and thinking about it. And yeah, I absolutely do not have any tools for you to like, what was the thing that like helped me break through it. I think I honestly can't even, I don't know what the point where I was just like, actually, I think what it was talking to someone who helped me move the needle because I was thinking about it
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
But did anyone know? No. It was like it was that whole
Right.
thing of like, I have to do this on my own. I'm very much like that. I'm very much like, I have to do it on my own. I have to figure it out and I'm just gonna do it. And, it's like I don't wanna burden people and I don't blah, 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 blah. I'm bored of that. But it's, that
Oh,
whole sort of
100%. Quite masculine, like masculine and you're masculine. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like, "I've gotta do this," and then yeah, I don't know how she came into my kind of sphere, but she was, a podcast editor, and she was, like, beautiful. Her name's Lara, and I just, like, reached out to her, and I was like, "Let's just do, like, a, what's it?"
Trial episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Or
let's
like a pilot.
no, 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 it was, let me just book a call with her,
Yeah.
no strings attached, like, I just wanna talk about this podcast idea I have. So I'd been thinking about it, and then talking to her was the first time that I said it out loud. So I think what this highlights is the importance of actually, like, letting people help you and talking about the things that you are curious about and passionate about, like, let people in and talk about the things that you love and wanna do. It's not stupid, it's not silly, it's not too crazy. I think that if you allow people in, there's been so many times where I've talked about something that I'm curious about or wanna do, and someone's like, "Oh, I know someone you should talk to." It's this that, like, you don't have to do this alone, like, we are relational beings.
So
We're meant to
true.
support and be supported. So I honestly think that that was a really, um, like, changing point for me because she made it feel so easy. And when I was talking to her, I was like, "Oh my
Yes.
god, this is actually easier than I'm
Then I'm
making it
making
out
it to
to
be.
be?" And so,
That's such
yeah.
an important reminder. I'm just like taking this in right now and being like, whoa, because I think
Mm,
it's so easy to go through life thinking that you have to do it all on your own. And I think there's a real, I don't know. I have picked up on there being quite a sense of that just on the male and female side now in society of just like I feel like a lot of people are feeling that it's not just like a male or a female thing. It's like I don't know, it's this idea of like we yeah, we must all achieve everything solely on our like own little island and make it ourselves and hustle and do all of this. And actually it's just like takes a village, a lot of the
Mhm.
time. But we've kind of lost that a bit
Yeah.
along the
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think even in like my industry, it's very much like self-love, self this, self, it's like self, self,
That's the point I
self.
was trying to make. Thank you for
Yeah.
articulating it. That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's
Yeah.
very like, yes,
Yeah.
focused on the self, which is great.
Yep.
So great. But it's
Yeah.
also like community is really important.
Yes. Yeah.
Self-sacrifice is really important, being selfless and giving up things for others and focusing on other needs sometimes is other people's needs as well, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
both, and I do like, I even think about there's just certain things that parts of ourselves that we'll never be able to discover with just, like, self-work and self-development and self-love, like, those are so key and important, like, we've talked about, like, nurturing that relationship with yourself, and
Mm.
also, there's certain things that you just will never get to without being in relationship to another person,
Yeah.
It's I think about, like, dating, for example, sometimes people can kind of be like, "I just need to work on myself before I'm ready to get into a relationship," and I'm like, "Yes, love that for you," and I also agree, like, there has to be a certain part of you or a certain point that you are kind of like, "Okay, I feel ready," but there's also certain things that you cannot read from a book, that you actually have to discover when in relationship to another person, whether that's, business partner or a romantic partner or a friend. It's actually learning more about ourselves in relationship to others. And then the other kind of piece that you were talking to of like being a villager, right? And like actually learning to love others and be loved and how to it's kind of some people struggle with the over giving and not giving
Yes.
to themselves, and then some people struggle with the
Uh,
opposite, right? So it's
exactly.
like finding that kind of imperfect balance of like being a villager, but also allowing yourself to be supported by the village.
Yeah. And I
Mm.
was just thinking there about what we spoke about at the start, which was like the boundary setting. It's like I think that's where um if you looked at it like a bit of a seesaw, it's like almost like trying to figure out where that in between is.
Yeah.
Where is the in between of looking after myself and working on myself and focusing on myself
Mhm.
and versus like, I guess, yeah, like not only ever putting other people on a higher pedestal than ourselves
Yeah.
and like people pleasing their needs and always thinking about how they feel. It's a really fine balance, but it's an important one.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of intangible work that
Yeah.
needs to be done, I think,
Yeah,
when
I
it
think you're
comes.
kind of like can kind of check in even just as you're listening to this and feeling into like, do am I kind of in that like current season of like maybe isolation or like hyper independence where it's like I don't need anyone, I can do this on my own. And maybe in that kind of space, can you allow yourself to lean in or lean on others a little bit more?
Yeah.
And then if you're on the other side of like only be around people and struggle with your own company, then maybe it's like, can I explore what solo looks like, what being with myself looks like, what self-love looks like.
So many amazing pursuits that you are focusing on at this point in your life course. So do you just want to talk to us about um yeah, kind of give us some more detail on I guess like what Curious Minds is, what Lighthouse involves, like what your attention is now on in terms of like going forward in this kind of next chapter, just all the things really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So life is very full and uh, aligned at the moment in terms of the different kind of projects that I've got going on. So my baby, and this is what I've been doing for the last sort of 5 6 years, is Lighthouse. So that is my online group coaching program, and so I run. It goes for 3 months, 3 times a year,
Mhm.
and it's at the moment I only work with. I've only worked with women,
Mm. Mm.
but it is open to anyone and everyone. I in that program have a structure. So it is focused around self-worth and helping people to, I guess, understand and learn more about themselves. And
Mm.
there's different modules that we go through. So we talk about belief work, we talk about boundaries, we talk about emotional awareness and learning how to feel your emotions.
Mm.
I've been running that program for 5 to 6 years now, but in that time, I personally have learnt so much. And in that time, I've gone through a year-long meditation teacher training. I'm currently in my third year of Hakomi, which is it's a mindful somatic psychotherapy.
Mhm.
And so both the meditation teacher training and the Hakomi is really bringing a lot more bringing a lot more somatics in. So somatics is basically just uh, learning more about your body or being in your body.
Yeah.
And a lot of my work prior to that was quite cognitive, quite
Yeah.
kind of head based. So a lot of talking, a lot of journaling, a lot of kind of thinking, exploring, learning, which is really good,
Yeah.
but I'm bringing in that kind of somatic body based and being able to kind of intertwine the two has been game changing, both for myself and also for my clients. So yeah, bringing in that kind of aspect into Lighthouse has been huge.
That's so
Really,
cool.
really exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I do one-on-one coaching as well, which is definitely more of a personal individualized journey. So we
Mm.
will work through a lot of the themes that we work through in Lighthouse, but it's based on that individual and kind of where they are, how they're feeling,
Yeah.
and where they kind of the direction that they kind of want to move in. So it's really based on that individual client. So that's
Mm.
always it's very different to Lighthouse. But yeah,
Yeah.
really, really cool, really interesting to kind of work with such different types of clients as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And then I've got Curious Minds, which is, yeah, just like I always smile when I think about Curious Minds because
Yeah.
it's something that brings a lot of lightness and joy into my life. I started it, yeah, just over a year ago. And kind of when I was starting it, I thought, is this something that I want to do like as a paid experience, like, something that people kind of sign
Mm.
up to, or is it something that I run for free? And for me, I think there has to be a balance of I really enjoy and love this, and also um, I don't wanna feel exhausted or resentful because I'm over giving. I want it to be a very mutual
Yes. Yeah.
experience where I am enjoying it and the people are enjoying it. And so I just said, I just want it to be for the community. And at any point, if I'm feeling, like I'm giving too much or I'm not being able to keep up with it, then maybe I'll change things. But every single Thursday I am just like my cup is overflowing. I am just so lit up by the type of people that I get to spend these mornings with. And so Curious Minds is every week we meet at sunrise on the beach. I will take them through guided meditation,
Mm.
and then I will take them through guided journaling prompts.
Mm.
And every couple of prompts, people will kind of pair up or go into little groups, and they'll talk about, what their answers are and what came up for them. And then we go for coffee after. And it's honestly like it. Sometimes it can go, a bit deep, and it can bring
Mm.
up some stuff for people. But most of the time, it's very like fun and light-hearted.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that people just have meaningful conversations, beneath the like, how's the weather? How's work? It's like you're
Yeah.
talking about interesting things and getting to know yourself and others in the process.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
connecting with others and just meeting new people. And
Yeah.
honestly, if you're watching or listening to this and you live near Mount Maunganui, like you really should come along to
Mm.
one of the sessions. We were just saying there that actually in my first week I came to Curious Minds when I moved here. Yes.
Oh.
In something I think it was that
Oh,
morning.
that's right.
That was like
Wow.
maybe even like a few days after I got here and I'd heard about it. I think that must have been one of your first. Must have
That's
been.
wild.
And it was just like, Oh, I'll always remember that morning actually because it was just a sense of like, "Oh my gosh, like, I can't believe there's such a nice community here that I can, like, get involved with." And then I ended up working nights in one of my jobs and just was not a morning person for the longest time. However, we're becoming a morning person again, and I will definitely be there because it is just like I think especially now in the age we're living in, like there are so many different ways to meet people, but I think to connect with people
Mm.
in that kind of way, and obviously sometimes that feels really scary because you are opening yourself up to what could be strangers on that morning or on the day. It is scary, but it's like to do that is so beautiful in a way, like,
Yeah.
and then actually I remember that morning, one of the first session I went to, it's like I actually got really good advice from people there because they were able to see what I was talking about
Mm.
totally objectively and neutrally, which is
Mhm.
a really cool opportunity because a lot of the time you're talking to your friends or your family about things and they have their own
Bias
ideas
and
about it
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
So
Oh, I love that. And
honestly,
I think, there's a lot of uncertainty when people are like, what is it? And do I have to like know how to journal? I've never journaled before, or like I don't know anyone. Like, can I come alone? And
yeah,
there's a lot of uncertainty, and I can, I know that that's can put off a lot of people. And I think we go to that immediately to that thought of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And that negative bias.
mm,
But actually, yeah, it's kind of directing your mind to like what what is the best that could happen? What might come from this? So like, yes, it's absolutely scary. I'm not denying that it can bring up like fear and uncertainty, but also what are the possibilities that could come from putting yourself out there like this?
mm,
Like what if you met your bestie, or what if,
literally,
yeah, you kind of had a conversation that sparked something. So there's
yeah.
so much beautiful things that have come from just such a simple morning. But yeah, yeah. So that
It's
really lights up my life.
it's really special. It's
Yeah.
really special. Um, course, we will round off the episode now. I just have one final question for you to do that. I mean, we've spoken about it so much and it's been amazing, and you are just like a fountain of knowledge. Um, but if so, somebody gets to the end of this episode and they are feeling like they want to start doing work on themselves and like they have this kind of, yeah, this idea of like this kind of, I guess, higher, more authentic version of themselves, but they feel a bit stuck in that.
Mm.
What is advice that comes to your mind now at this point in your life that you would give to them to help them just have that little nudge in the right direction?
Mm. Okay, yeah. Again, like I'm like, oh, you could do this, you
I
could do this,
know
you could do this, you could
exactly.
do
I'm
this. And I'm
like,
like, this is just how my brain works. But I'm
yeah.
like, okay, if I was starting out and I was just like, oh my God, like I want to work on myself, but I just don't know where to start. I think my number one piece of advice would be like your environment, your environment. Who are you around? What
Mm,
spaces can you put yourself in? So start there. So if you think about like, obviously, if you're in a community like Mount Maunganui, like it's probably a little bit easier, right? So, look out for maybe there's a certain run club or a
yeah,
journal club, or a certain space where you're trying a specific hobby. Like, be mindful of the environment that you're in and put yourself in those spaces where the culture and the values are shared.
nice. Yeah.
If you are like, I understand that that's not possible for everyone. Still focus on your environment, but maybe that might be your digital environment, right? So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, so if I maybe live in a rural area and that's like maybe not as accessible, then what is your digital environment?
Mm,
What does it look like? Who are you listening to? Who is surrounding you on in the
mm,
online space?
mm,
And how does that make you feel? So yeah, maybe the kind of the line there would be like no, I don't like the word audit.
mm.
Be intentional with your
Yeah,
environment,
yeah.
because I think yes, there's all the tools that you can use, but when you put yourself in spaces where the desired habits are normalized and celebrated, it becomes easy. So
So true.
yeah,
It's like the
yeah,
James Clear, like the Atomic
exactly.
Habits.
Yeah,
It's just like like remove as much friction as you can.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
true.
So it might be one person that just like makes you feel good, or surround yourself with them, like spend time with them, or a
Mm,
community space or a digital space, but be intentional with who you
you're
surround
right.
yourself with. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's so nice. That's such a nice way to end the episode.
Yay.
Yay! Oh. Like, thank you
Oh, the
so
love.
much. I
Yeah.
know. I honestly just, yeah, I just have so much respect for you. I think you
Aw.
are a genuinely lovely, awesome person. I don't know if I've said this before in any episodes, but I see like certain people in life as like light guardians. Maybe I said this to you before. Did I say this to you at coffee? I can't remember.
Can't
Anyway,
imagine me forgetting something like that.
yeah, I just like light guardians, like people that just are like guarding the light for others. And I really just see you that way. And you're such a busy lady and you've taken the time out to do this. And I'm so grateful. And I really think that this episode, for those that listen to it, is going to be really, really useful and helpful. And I'm so grateful to you for giving up your time to do that. So thank you so
Thank you. It was
much.
such a privilege, and honestly, yeah, just such a nice way to spend my time is, yeah, speaking about these things that I care about, but also like, yeah, being an energy and connection with you. It's been really special. So thank you for having
I'm getting
me.
shy again.
Receive it,
Yeah,
receive it.
oh, thanks, Courts.
Oh.